Hey everybody, S and Raza here from Century 21 Innovative Realty. Hope you guys are having a great start to the spring season. I know the weather's been kind of chilly, but hopefully things get warmer from here on in. I wanted to put together a very important update this month. I know it took some time, and a lot of you have been asking me if I'm going to be doing an update on the latest market activity, and I was going to do it. I was just compiling some information because a lot has happened this month, and I'm just trying to make sure that I do my research and so that I can present the proper information to you guys. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than my other videos just because there's so much information to unpack. There's so much to talk about, as I'm sure you guys have all heard about the new housing rules, interest rate hikes, and what's happening with the market and all the stuff that's going around. I want to give you guys a very clear and objective point of view and some information that will help you make your decision in the near future. So in this video, as usual, we're going to do a breakdown of the numbers year over year. I'm also going to do a breakdown of the numbers month over month. Then we're going to talk about what I'm seeing in the market day to day. After that, I'll give you some advice on what to expect as a buyer and as a seller. And then, try to give you guys an idea as to what we can expect going forward for the next few months. And we'll also touch up a little bit on some of the rules that have come out from the government, municipal government, provincial, and also the federal government. So without further ado, let's break down the numbers as we usually do. Let me just get this over here, side. So looking at the month of March this year, we had about almost 11,000 sales. Now, this was a steep decline from last year, where we saw a record 15,628 sales. So that was about a 30% drop, which is pretty big. But you also have to remember that last year was an anomaly where it was a record year for real estate in Toronto. Despite this steep decline in sales, this March was still actually the third best March recorded on TREB. The average sale price from this year is 1.299, so about 1.3 million. That was still up 18.5% from last year around this time. So as you can see, the average price is still astronomically high. We're still hovering at about 1.3 for an average price, for an average home price in the GTA. So now let's talk about what's happened month over month. This is really, really interesting right here. As you can see, in February of 2022, just last month, the average sale price was 1.334. And like I explained in my previous slide, the March average sale price is 1.299. So that's a decline. So you're starting to see the market cool off a little bit. Normally as we go into the spring months, this average price, goes up and up and up. But this is, it's been a while where we've seen that the average price had actually come down from February to March. So looking at this chart now, what am I seeing in the market right now and what's happening? So obviously, as you guys all know, interest rates are going up. And I think, with rates going up, we can't kind of beat around the bush and say the market is going to continue to go up and up and up. With rates going up, we are going to see a little bit of a cool off. We are going to see prices correct, and we have seen that already. So you have to understand that as interest rates go up, it's not also about how much they go up, it's about how fast they go up, and it will impact prices whether we like it or not. But how much has it impacted prices? That's the question that we want to ask ourselves. So right now, what I'm seeing in the market is I'm seeing the market cool off. In the past 2 months ago, a house would have 10 offers or 15 offers. Now, I'd be very surprised if I saw that. Now I'm probably seeing about 2 or 3 offers. In some situations, there is only one offer on the table. And so as a buyer, you're able to actually negotiate one-on-one to get a house. Now, does that mean that you're going to find a house that's going to be 10 cents on the dollar? No, that doesn't mean that you're going to get a cheap price in this market. The market is still a seller's market technically. We're just not seeing that same activity we saw a couple of months ago. So that's what's been happening. I've seen offers, competition come down, which is good for buyers. Have I seen prices come down? I have seen prices come down in several areas. In some areas, I've seen prices come down 5%. In some neighborhoods, I've even seen it come down 10%. What that means is that if your house was selling for 1.4, in January, you might get 1.3 now. So it's not like the market is crashing, but yes, there has been a little bit of a correction in some neighborhoods. So if you're a buyer right now, what should you be doing? As a buyer, my advice is that if you were looking for a home before and you were having a difficult time, this might be a really good opportunity, a good window for you to get back into the market and start looking at homes, because now you're not going to have that same competition. You might even be able to get a house a lot easier than you would have before, and for maybe a little bit of a lesser price. Again, you're going to find a house for 10 cents on the dollar. You probably won't. I mean, can you get lucky? You can, but you have to understand that there's a lot of misinformation out there. People are saying you're going to get a crazy, amazing deal. You can get a better deal, but you're not going to get a steal of the deal if that's what you're thinking. But the good thing is that competition will be less, which will make your decision easier to make because you won't have to rush. You can make an informed decision now that you have time and more choices available. As a seller, what can you expect? As a seller, I think this is a market where you're going to have to temper your expectations a little bit, right? Like I said, if you're going to get 1.4 a month ago, you have to understand that now you might not get 1.4, you might get 1.3 or 1.275, which is not bad. It's still a good price. And especially if you're selling and buying on the other side, then the house you're going to buy is also going to be a little bit of a lesser price. So that's what I'm seeing in the market at the moment. Now, what's going to happen going forward? What we're seeing is interest rates going up, and there was a news article out today that there might be another rate hike next month or this summer possibly, and we might see rates go up again, which is possible. I think rates will go up one more time this year. And this is something that we spoke about in my previous videos, especially last year, where I asked the question, like, why is it that home prices keep going up? And the reason for that were two reasons. There was one, it was supply was low, and to add fuel to the fire, interest rates were also record low. So now what we're seeing is that interest rates are going up, but at the same time, supply is still low. It's not like supply has jumped up tremendously. So now you're in a weird situation where, yes, rates are going up, supply is still relatively low. So now what's going to happen, right? And what I'm seeing is exactly what I mentioned, is that there's a small correction in some neighborhoods. There's less competition, but at the end of the day, it's still a seller's market. So if I were to put a scale to it, let's just say a month ago, it was a seller's market 10 out of 10. Now it's probably a seller's market 3 or 4 out of 10. So I think it's still a good market. It's not a buyer's market yet. Is it a balanced market? Not 100% there yet. It's still a seller's market. But as a buyer, I think you're going to have a much easier time getting something in the market right now. So now let's kind of touch up on what's happening in terms of the rules, the new housing rules that have come out, and some of the new proposals. I'm not going to talk too much about this stuff, but just want to touch up on them real quickly. First and foremost, as you saw, the interest rate hike has happened a couple of times this year already, and we're probably going to see one more hike as well later this year. The foreign buyer tax and foreign buyer ban. The federal government has proposed a foreign buyer ban for 2 years, and the provincial government has actually increased the foreign buyer tax from 15% to 20%. The other rule that came out was taxing home flippers and assignment sales. And what they're also talking about is a ban on blind bidding, increasing the home buyer's tax credit, and also including a buyer's bill of rights, which would allow buyers to possibly have the inspection and have that mandatory in their agreement of purchase and sale. So, what are these rules actually going to do with the market? Are they going to impact the market in terms of housing? To be honest with you, the only thing that I feel that may impact the pricing will be the interest rate hike. All these other rules that have come out, they're just fodder. They haven't really been impacting the market much in the past, and I don't think they're going to do much in the future either. I feel like this stuff is really, and I hate to say it, but it's more for the government to look good in some instances. And the market was already cooling before this stuff had come out. Now it just kind of makes them look even better because they can say, look, we introduced these rules. Now the market is cooling. I think these rules had nothing to do with the market cooling at all. If anything, it was more psychological. The only thing that kind of had an impact was the interest rate hike. So I hope this information was helpful. I know it was a bit of a longer video, but I wanted to give you, an objective view as to what I'm seeing in the market because I'm out there day to day and I'm seeing what's happening. And if you have any further questions about the market, please feel free to reach out to me. We'd be happy to share more information. And if you have any ideas or if you want a evaluation of your home at this point in the market, please do reach out and I'll be happy to give that to you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.